Good afternoon, everyone. We've got a beautiful day. Lucky to have it outside. My name is Phil Lyons. I am the Interim Vice Chancellor for Administrative and Student Life Services. Thank you for coming today. Today we celebrate the vision of two generations of Stout leaders, students, faculty, and staff, who rather symbolically now are unified in this building, the Memorial Student Center. As it was in 1985, the millennial student leaders, staff, and administrators articulated a common vision and desire to create a central place where the campus could gather. The design team, which was mostly comprised of students, sought to borrow from the past and Stout's rich history while incorporating innovation and technology that is in keeping with our designation as Wisconsin's Polytechnic University. As you walk through the building, you'll notice tributes to the past. The exterior columns are constructed with Dunnville quarry sandstone, the same stone that was used in many of the historical buildings, including the Mabel Tainer Theater. The fireplace and the fireplace lounge was modeled after the original. Materials including the paneling, wainscoting, and stained glass were repurposed and were originally a part of the president's home. There are also tabletops fashioned from the old bowling lanes that entertained several decades of students. But the Memorial Student Center is also a technological achievement. The new building brings energy efficiency that is comparable to LEED silver. 48% of the lights are LED. The air handlers are fewer but much more efficient. The audio and video amenities are state-of-the-art. The design incorporates the trend of open air spaces with lots of light, which transforms the building to a place where students can see and be seen, as Lucy Nicolai used to point out. But beyond the mixing of old and new in this renovation, some things really remain the same. Both generations of students desired a home away from home, a place where they could relax, socialize, study, and learn, a place where they could have coffee with friends or parents, catch a comedian, a musical act, a fashion show, or attend a student organization meeting. It's a building that will become the living room of the campus. Today, we celebrate the foresight and the vision of many, many individuals. Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks Coffee, said, "A lot of what we ascribe to luck is really not luck at all. It's seizing the day and accepting responsibility for your future. It is seeing what other people do not see and pursuing that vision." On that note, it is a pleasure to introduce our first speaker today, the Chancellor of the University of Wisconsin-Stout. When Dr. Charles Sorensen became the Chancellor in 1988, he saw the university's great potential and envisioned transforming a regional university into a dynamic, nationally recognized Polytechnic University, focused on applied learning that addressed the ever-changing students' needs. That vision is now a reality. Through his vision, UW-Stout is the state's only Polytechnic University, the state's only laptop university, and the nation's only Baldrige Award-winning university. The stunning new student center that we're celebrating here today is also a testament to the Chancellor's vision of a modern university and one of the best and most student-centered universities in the nation. Please join me in thanking Dr. Sorensen for his vision and support as we welcome him to open our new student center. Dr. Sorensen.
Well, thanks very much, and this really is a great day, a day of great celebration. We have an incredible building to celebrate, and it really has transformed our campus in a significant way. If you look at the new Jarvis building across the way, new student center now, the focus has become the center of campus, as it should. I've told many people when we opened the doors of this building, students crawled in and they haven't left yet. I mean, it's great. They're here all the time, morning, noon, night, weekends. Just a phenomenal, energetic building, and I really appreciate that. You know, this was a slow process, and we have to thank a lot of people. I'm going to mention a few. Sheila Harsdorf, our state senator. Sheila, why don't you stand up and take a round of applause. John Murtha. John was a great help all the time. John, thanks. Ed Minideeds was our regent from Eau Claire, the great attribute. My provost, Judy First Bowlby, always in the center of this. I'm going to mention some folks that didn't have a role in this, but important to me. My wife, Tony. Tony, please stand up. Thank you very much. And two other people. And you know, when I'm up here and have the podium, I see people that I know and haven't seen for a while. I have two special people, Diane Moen and Jan Jordan. Just stand up. These people. Diane was my CBO for about 20 years, and Jan taught me how to be a chancellor when I came here, so I really appreciate that. We have a lot of the great thing about this building is it was student-driven from the paying for it, designing it, getting their way for it, and there worked a lot of good young people here to do this. The brothers, Mike Lubke and Sawyer Lubke, they're here someplace. I saw them. Stand up. Great. You know, these guys have changed. Wow. A suit, Mike, a suit, come on. Phil Rizzo, I don't think Phil is here today. But Neil Peterson will talk to you soon. And Dave Hay is here someplace. I saw Dave Hay a moment ago. And Dave was here, one of the first student Senate presidents to kick off this whole effort. So thank you very much. The maturity of these young people, though, I recall discussions with the Lubke brothers and Dave about a lot of other things, but this is a great day to celebrate. So enough time for me. You hear a lot about this building, other students that had a role in this, but truly this is transforming who we are and why we're here, and it's a great attribution to the student body of this very fine university. So thank you, student body. Thanks.
Last night it was a pleasure because following the SSA meeting, Joan Thomas and I had the pleasure of reconnecting with some of the former student government presidents, and Mike Lubke and Sawyer Lubke, Mike Breutzman. We talked a little bit about how much SSA meant to them and how much they really gleaned from it professionally. Over that time, I've gotten really to know Neil Peterson over the past 3 years in a variety of capacities, and I've really watched him develop from someone that was a freshman and kind of like checking things out and what's this about, to a really dynamic student leader who's very conscientious. It was Neil that really has carried this MSC renovation through its last lap, and it was his student government that moved out of the building, that moved into the bank building, that relocated there for a period of a year and then made the trip back into this fine new facility. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce the current Stout Student Association President, Neil Peterson.
Thank you, Phil. Now, looking back, not too long ago, our MSC was defined by vacant hallways, cobblestone flooring, inadequate meeting rooms, and no real distinguishable front door. It didn't draw all that much attention, and it actually seemed that most of the time the MSC was used as just passing from class to class and not really your destination necessarily. I've had a lot of experience in the old MSC, and that's really why I think I appreciate this new one so much more. Instead of these tight hallways that I just talked about, now our MSC is wide open. You can see all the activity that's going on, and there has certainly been plenty of that lately. The building is now upgraded to a lot more technologically friendly meeting rooms, which has certainly helped our campus. And finally, we do now have a distinguishable front door with an amazing view of campus. It is safe to say now that the MSC is more of a destination than just a means of travel. There's a lot of work put into making this happen, and I really wanted to thank all the amazing staff that really made this a possibility. But I don't think it would truly be a student center without all the student involvement that went on in it. We certainly had a lot of committees, focus groups, really trying to see what students wanted in a student center. And you know, a lot of the people that were involved in this did come back, and it's really great to see so many of them coming back to really celebrate a great building. Now, none of what you see in the building could have ever been possible if it wasn't for the efforts of the student government 4 years ago, led by Mike Lubke. His administration saw much more than just minor changes and upgrades in a building. And when they passed a resolution in October of 2008, it wasn't just any small renovation. It was a $19 million renovation. Now next, Phil Rizzo, he was elected, and he had the task of speaking on the Board of Regents and state building commissions on what the students wanted and making sure that the $19 million renovation could happen. And his efforts were well received, and obviously today you see the building that is open. And last year, the Senate Sawyer Lubke led oversaw what what was the finishing process of this whole plan that was started so long ago. And a number of students were in design committees to ensure that the MSC was the heartbeat of campus, and it certainly is today, as a number of people and students use it for multiple purposes. And now last April, I was elected, and it was really an honor to be elected by the student body to serve as the president for the last year. And it's really great for me to be here because, like I said, I have had so much experience in this building, and it really means a lot to, I know, the past students and the present. And I certainly know we have a great building that's going on to the future students that will come to make Stout and the Menominee community a home. So now, just looking back a few years ago when I was a freshman, I still remember when all the ideas were just on paper, and they're just created in focus groups. But it really is a true transformation, and it's incredible to see what's before us. And I'm just glad that I could make it through the transition and really see what it's become. So, like I said, it's been an honor to be able to open up and welcome the MSC to the past, present, and shortly the future students. So, thank you very much.
Thanks, Neil. Suffice to say that a project of this magnitude takes a great deal of campus coordination between UW System, the Division of State Facilities, contractors, architects, students, and staff. Fortunately, UW Stout has the talents of physical plant director Shirley Klebesaddle. Shirley joined Stout in 2005 as the associate director of the physical plant and took over from Ted Hensel as the full-time in 2010. Prior to coming to Stout, Shirley was a construction supervisor for Wisconsin Division of State Facilities for over 16 years. And she also spent 5 years at the Mayo Clinic as the construction management coordinator in Rochester. It's a pleasure to introduce Shirley Klebesaddle.
Thanks, Phil. Well, welcome. It is a great day for a celebration. No snow, what else could you ask for? We wouldn't be here if it weren't for the dedicated individuals who made this renewal project possible. So I'm going to take a few minutes to recognize the hardworking people involved in this. First of all, I want to identify our campus design team, who were instrumental in all phases of the project, from programming, design, and the construction phase. These people went above and beyond to get us here today as well into the future. I'd ask you to hold your applause until we get through the list of names. And I want special thanks go out to our campus planner, George Acker, Alan Samisik, our former assistant director of physical plant, who's now living in River Falls for some reason. Zenon Smolarek, my assistant director. Ann Thies, director of dining services. Lucy Nicolai, the retired director of MSC. And Darren Watucky, the director of MSC. Thank you for your vision, time, and hard work. You guys all did an amazing job. Now I'd like to recognize the off-campus project team whose expertise guided us through the design, bidding, and construction phase. These people have worked well as a team to meet the challenges of the existing site and deliver solutions that exceeded our students' desires. The design team was led by Frisbee Architects of River Falls, Matt and Sherry Frisbee, Stephen Peterson, Jim Muehlbauer, Virginia Pavey, and Dan Burnham. I see the bees are out. And in association with Mackie Mitchell Architects, John Burse, Marilee Hertling, James Conrad, Stacy Way, and Clint Smith. Our structural and mechanical and electrical engineering firm was Arnold and Sheridan out of Madison. Paul Kawal, Stefan Herman, Irene Reganskin, Patrick Stanley, and Christine Raydens. Our plumbing and fire protection engineers were PSJ Engineering out of Madison, Ted Lindsay. Our site consultant was Ken Sankey Design and Steve Wayland. Our food service design was provided by Robert Rippey and Associates, Terry Pellegrino, and Michael Westerndorf. Our audiovisual consultants from Professional Audio Design was Chris Hermanson and Philip Rogelin. Our cost consultant was Brian Bertrand. So those are our design firms and associated subcontractors. So let's give them a round of applause. Our construction team consisted of 3 prime contractors. Our lead contractor was a local firm. Our general contractor, Market and Johnson, and Dan Market is here. His project manager was Jim Buckelman and Dave Schneider. Our HVAC, plumbing, and fire protection contractor was J.F. Ahern, with project manager of John Kinsling, Sean Neubauer, and Sereno Stendel. Our electrical and information technology contractor was Vintco from Minnesota, John Hagan and Mike Johnson. And there was a number of other subcontractors, too numerous to mention. We'd be here until dark. You all made a vision and the design a reality. Thank you for your expertise and your craftsmanship. I would also like to thank UW Systems Capital Planning and Budget, especially our Associate Vice President David Miller and Senior Architect Jeff Skalowski, who facilitated the process to obtain authorization and funding. Thank you for what all you've done. Last but not least, I'd like to recognize the personnel from the State Division of State Facilities, our project manager, Tim Luttrell, our construction coordinator, I saw him somewhere, Neil Sheridan, and contract representative from HVAC, John Zimmerman. They provided expert guidance and oversight to the project and provided the students a cutting-edge facility in sustainability and technology. We appreciate their leadership and decision-making efforts throughout this project. This project is successful thanks to the vision, dedication, and teamwork shown by everyone involved in the project. Without all of their hard work, we would not be enjoying the revitalized facility ready for the next decades of use by our students, staff, and faculty. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. I really can't say enough about our next speaker. It was he, along really with Ann Thies, who was some of the glue that kept this whole project moving forward. Darren Watucky knew pretty much about every detail of this project. He was oftentimes the designated go-to person. He also served in a number of times as really the cheerleader of the project that kept things moving forward, that kept people excited about what we were doing. The amount of knowledge that this man has about this building made my head spin sometimes. But I think that that really reflects Darren's history with this building. He came here in 2000 and was entered as the events coordinator in university centers. In 2004, he was promoted to the senior events coordinator. In 2007, he was appointed to the associate director. In 2010, we asked Darren to take on the challenge of becoming the interim director, and 1 year later, he was named the permanent director of university centers. I can't imagine inheriting a project midway through as a director of the building. He did an outstanding job, and it just is a real pleasure to introduce the director of University Centers, Darren Witucki.
Thank you, Phil. Today is a good day. I appreciate the opportunity to give a few remarks on what is really a celebratory day for our campus, the campus community, and the student body. This project and this building mean a lot to our campus, and I'm glad that you could be here today. I need to start by recognizing and thanking some people that are here today. We are very pleased to have some retirees with us today that have meant so much to this building and this campus. With us today, we have Bill Selecki, former director and longtime advisor to the Stout Student Association. Lucy Nicolai, former director of the MSC. She's here somewhere. Oh, she is. And Joe Cryer, former executive director of athletics and UREC and longtime Student Life Services budget guru. Thank you for joining us today. Our successes today are certainly rooted in your foundations of the careers at Stout that you reflect. Many of our colleagues from around the UA system, the state, and elsewhere are with us today. Thank you for being here, but also thank you for being there throughout the project to share insight, advice, words of encouragement. Our field is very fortunate to have a close-knit group of colleagues. Scattered throughout the audience, and probably inside the building at this very moment, making sure everything is just right, is the MSC professional staff, our student staff, our custodial staff, our maintenance staff, our partners in dining, and the bookstore. I must recognize and thank this group for their dedication, their professionalism, their stewardship, and their commitment to learning outside the classroom. This group has been and continues to be second to none. Nothing truly meaningful and worthwhile is not without quite a bit of sacrifice. There are many families that endured a bit of disruption in their lives while a husband, a wife, a parent, or partner worked on this project. Some of the families that come to mind are the families of Alan Smasik, Ann Thies, Stephen Peterson, Dave Scheidler, Mike Johnson, Serrano Stendel, and many other families of campus staff, the AE design team, and construction team members. We know there were times that these families were sick of hearing about this project and wondered if it ever would end. Including that list is my own family. Thank you to my wife, Jacqueline, my daughter, Carly, and my son, Cole. Your patience and support has been remarkable. The Grand Opening Committee with questionable judgment asked me to speak today, and they assigned me the task of providing a retrospective on the project, highlighting some key goals and accomplishments, and reflecting a bit on this project and what it means to the campus community. And all this without, as Doug Mell said, without being overly verbose. I don't know where he is. I've never been accused of being overly verbose, but today I do have a few things to say, so I hope your chair is comfortable. In all seriousness, it is difficult to organize words and thoughts on a project of this length, magnitude, and impact for our campus community. However, when thinking about this nearly 8-year adventure, I do think some select and insightful quotes can help provide a framework for our conversation. The first quote, "A student center is a reflection of how a campus treats its students." The origin of this quote is unknown, but it was used frequently by former student center director Lucy Nicolai. It is one of her favorites. At many institutions, this quote reflects the monetary expenditures a campus may make towards a student center. At our campus, I believe this quote highlights the confidence, trust, and respect our campus has for self-governance of our student body, which is rooted in Wisconsin State Statute 36095. We all love that one. This project and this building are the results of students serving on committees, studying issues, asking the hard questions, developing the goals, and ultimately making the decision to move forward. Vision for the Stout Student Association before they began final deliberations for this project and its funding. And so in October 2008, the SSA voted to protect the investment of past students, provide this marvelous facility today for today's students, and pay forward an investment for future students. Retired Student Center Director Bill Selecki has often stated, student centers should be constructed with Legos. Bill is suggesting that Legos would make the ideal building material because they would allow for maximum flexibility. Well, Bill, I'm sorry to tell you that the Division of State Facilities still does not have Legos on its approved list of materials. But Bill does highlight a very important reality of student-centered design and operation. Flexibility is critical. The target is always moving. The needs of the campus can vary widely on a single day. The needs and interests of current students change from year to year. And how do we begin to design for future students? The answer is you do your homework. In preparation for this project, there were numerous visits to other schools, focus groups, online surveys, paper surveys, project planning committees, pre-planning committees, open forums, and historical research into the campus's previous student-centered projects. The data were analyzed, synthesized, and theorized. The project planning committee was then given a challenge. Okay, you have all this information, create a vision statement, and keep it short, 75 words. They had to answer the tough question, what is really important here? And then our design architects from Frisbee and Mackey Mitchell came aboard to challenge our assumptions, validate our vision, and help us focus on achieving our goals. While we couldn't use Legos, we realized our vision statement, and I feel confident, and we feel confident, that the design concepts of this renovation will serve us for years to come. The next quote, building projects are an emotional roller coaster. This is a favorite nugget of wisdom offered by Bob Johnson, our retired Assistant Vice Chancellor for Student Life Services and former Director of the MSC. It's true that building projects are an emotional roller coaster. They can be moving along smoothly and without worrying the bottom can drop out and with all sorts of twists and turns. Just getting through the various levels of project approval can be an interesting ride full of fits and starts, and derailment is always a real possibility. The design process can be bumpy as well, and then construction starts, and the emotional roller coaster ratchets you up yet another steep hill for another set of twists and turns, peaks and valleys. In particular, a renovation offers its own set of surprises as a 25-year-old building reveals its secrets and its challenges. Shirley illustrated just how many people it takes to make a project like this work, and we indeed had some talented professionals and contractors that joined us for the last phase of the roller coaster ride, and it was fast and furious. Think about this. The physical transformation you see today was accomplished in 1 year and 12 days. That is from the start to opening day. And today, it feels like we are finally coasting to a smooth stop, able to laugh and smile about the ride we just took. I want to close with two last quotes. The first can be found on a plaque outside of our south entrance. I'll wait for the bell. Outside the south entrance of the lower level, the plaque reads, dedicated to the students of Stout State University that gave their lives so others could live free. The words for this plaque were crafted by President Fricklin and placed on our previous student center, the 1959 building. The plaque was moved to this building in 1985. And while this is a joyous occasion, let's not forget that this building, through its physical structure, its programs, and its services, continues to be that living memorial to those students of Stout that gave their lives so others could live free. So how do you summarize what a building like this is about and what it means to a campus community? Porter Butts was the first director of the Memorial Unit at UW-Madison. In fact, he served in that capacity from 1927 to 1968. And he's widely recognized as one of the key figures in the college union movement in North America. In 1929, while being interviewed at the still fairly new campus radio station, WHA, Porter Butts tried to explain what a building like this is about and what it means to a campus. He said, it proposes to make a university more human, personal, and a friendly place. It hopes to become a kind of living room for students and faculty where friends are easily made, and where each student's experience can be richer. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a good day, and our celebration is richer by having you join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you for everyone for coming, and a few quick thank yous. A quick thank you to the Chamber of Commerce and Executive Director Lisa Montgomery for coming today, representing our city-university partnership in commerce, and for bringing the official ribbon-cutting scissors. Also, Mayor Knack, I see you back there. Thank you for coming. And Blaze, our mascot, I almost missed you sitting out in the crowd. We will proceed to cut the ribbon, and we hope that everyone can stick around and enjoy the wonderful food that's prepared by our University Dining Services and musical entertainment by Tim Howe and alumni and former Student Center member Kristen Korkowski. Thank you, everyone.
Run into